and that's why I'm able to talk to you about this subject and touch bases on it, because I've experienced this as well myself in the past. I've had these same blues, so I'll be the first to admit that I too have suffered from idolizing the purpose of others. However, I realized very early on that I needed to break those barriers before those barriers broke me. It wasn't until I realized that I needed to stop wanting to be someone else and actually be myself that I actually began to own and accept my own purpose and accept my position. And not only accept my position, but accept that my position would come to me in due time, when it was time. I had to learn the hard way that what you think is your misery could very well become your ministry. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and fabricate the fact that, it wasn't hard. It was very hard to stay motivated while broke. Motivated and broke does not go into the same sentence. Trust me, okay? However, I made it look good. And I stuck with my purpose. Although my pouring into others, it wasn't paying my bills. It wasn't feeding my family. It wasn't clothing my children. It wasn't doing any of those things. But I was so passionate about it to the point that I knew that it was my purpose to uplift women on a platform or a plateau bigger than myself. I knew in my heart that if I gave up, I would be giving up on someone out there in the world who really needed to hear my voice, who really needed to be uplifted by my words of encouragement. So I stuck with that purpose, although it wasn't putting food on my table for my family. It wasn't doing anything for me. However, for me, it wasn't about the monetization. It was about the message that I wanted to send. Trust me when I tell you that being broke and uplifting people when I needed to be uplifting myself was absolutely miserable. It was miserable. However, it was an experience, and experience turned out to be my best teacher. It turned out to be my ministry, and I absolutely love it, and I would not change that for the world. Every single day, I prayed to God. Every single day, I continue to pray to God, actually. And I continue to give thanks to Him that He kept me. He kept me when I couldn't fathom the thought of keeping myself. He made a way for me in order for me to make a way for someone else. He did that for me. He didn't allow my envy of how well other people were doing to drown my purpose. He didn't allow that. He didn't allow that compare and despair mindset that I had developed to ruin me. He did not allow that. He kept me. And that all goes back to last week's episode. It ties back into faith. Having faith, finding faith, and keeping it. I cannot stress this enough. We should be walking by faith even when we cannot see it. And trust me, I've prayed long and hard. Believe me, because that struggle was no joke. That sacrifice was an experience. It was an experience. It was an experience to pour into others when I felt as if I needed to be poured into myself. But I knew that God would take care of me. He would take care of me. Because in the long haul, I understood that He provides us all with strategic purpose and increase. So we have to stop idolizing all of these quote unquote get money chicks and the persona that they have created. We have to stop idolizing that. Because guess what? One, you don't know if that's her reality. And two, if that public persona is in fact her reality, you don't know what that sister had to do to get there. You have no idea what storm she had to sail to get to that promised land. We as a people have to stop window shopping when we already have money in our pockets. Hello, people. If we have any intention to accelerate, we have to cease that thought of wanting to trade our purpose for someone else's position. Just because we envy them? No, we have to stop that. It has to come to an end. Point blank, period. Nothing else to discuss. It has to stop. Recently, I shared a post across my social media platforms, and honestly, the post received so much feedback and so much positive feedback. The post itself read, "We need to focus more on making our connections our collaborations instead of making our connections our competition." And the same thing applies for envy. The only competition that's in your way is you, because you're too busy wanting to be someone else. You're so busy wanting to be someone else that you don't even see your own purpose. You don't even see that your niche is sitting right in front of you. Because you're so blinded by the blinders of someone else. Stop wanting what the next sister has and go for your own. Better yet, I have one better for you. If you idolize what she has, then do yourself a justice and ask her how she arrived. And you might just receive, because guess what? Not every individual out here harbors the strategies to success. There are people out here that will actually pour into you if you ask them, how did you do it? And better yet, how can I do it? It's just that simple. For myself, I've always asked God to sandwich me in between a multitude of individuals who are greater than myself. And I've strategically asked him for these things so that I can learn from them rather than wanting to trade with them. I don't want to trade with you, sister. I want you to teach me how to be great. That's the purpose of that. So then, with that being said, the next time you're feeling as if her shoes should be on your feet, block that thought. Block it out of your head. And say to yourself, how can I convince her that I'm worthy of being teachable? How can I convince her that I'm worthy of pouring into and mentoring? Also, position yourself within the median of individuals who are greater than you. And also whom you are greater than. Not just individuals who you idolize, but also individuals who idolize you. Because what happens when you place yourself within the median, you find a balance between who you actually are and who you ultimately want to be. You find a balance. So in other words, it's okay if you're not a get money chick. That's okay. It's okay if you don't have it all figured out. If you don't know what you want to do next, that is okay. And it's okay because half the people you're idolizing, baby, they're paddling in the same boat as you. I'll give you one better. They paddling in the same sea as you, the same ocean as you, and actually they asking you to borrow your paddle in silence. But you don't know that. And guess why you don't know that? Because they've mastered how to make their position look good. They have mastered that. This little piece of advice will take you a long way. Don't go reshuffling your cards because you think someone else has been dealt a better hand than you. Because guess what? When you do that, you might just end up picking yourself a joker. Stop thinking that you're a sailing ship waiting to sink just because of what you think someone else has. As I've said before, if you thinking to yourself, this could be me. Why isn't this me? Why don't I have this? Why don't I have that?